The animal kingdom is full of surprises. From the tiniest insects to the largest mammals, every species has its own weird and wonderful story. In this video, we're diving into 50 of the most unexpected, obscure, and fascinating animal facts that you possibly haven't heard before, although many of these were submitted by you guys. And if you have an obscure animal fact, leave it in the comments below so that I can make a part 2. Oilbirds and some swiftlet species are the only birds known to use echolocation to navigate. This is because they live in dark environments like caves. Common swifts spend almost their entire lives in flight, able to fly without landing for as long as 10 months. They only land to breed. Some frog species, such as wood frogs, are able to breathe through their cloaca, which is their digestive opening. This helps them survive long winter hibernations. Red foxes tend to jump in a northeasterly direction. It's believed that this is because their bodies are tapped into Earth's magnetic field. Over 100 species of animal fluoresce under UV light, including wombats, platypuses, and scorpions. Male platypuses have a venomous spur on their hind legs, but they aren't the only venomous mammals. Some insectivores like shrews, solenodons, and moles also produce venom. Vampire bats have a form of venom in their saliva, and the slow loris is the only venomous primate, producing a venom both in their saliva and in specialized glands on their forearms. Some animals mourn the dead, like elephants, crows, and chimpanzees. Reindeer eyes are golden in the summer and turn blue in the winter, allowing them to see best in different light conditions. Most rodents cannot burp or vomit, which is part of the reason why rat poison is so effective. Lobster cells age differently than other animals. As a result, they cannot die of old age. Instead, they eventually die from exhaustion or from complications while molting. While most cicada adults only survive for a few short weeks, some species live underground in the nymph stage for as long as 17 years before emerging. Some species of burrowing spider share their burrows with a small frog. The spiders offer the frogs protection from predators, while the frogs protect the spider's eggs from being preyed on by small insects like ants. Bears have one of the most incredible senses of smell in the animal kingdom, being able to follow a scent over long distances to find food. In one documented case, a black bear followed the smell of a carcass for 18 miles, or 29 kilometers. Polar bears are thought to be able to smell as far as 25 miles, or 40 kilometers. While only mammals produce true milk to feed their young, there are several non-mammalian animals that produce milk-like substances to care for their offspring. Some pigeons, flamingos, and penguins produce a substance known as crop milk to feed their chicks. Some cichlids, such as discus, produce a secretion on the skin of both males and females to feed their fry for up to 2 weeks. Caecilians grow a thickened layer of skin that their offspring scrape off and eat, and tsetse flies and some species of cockroach produce fluids or crystals to feed their young. Female tailless tenrecs from Madagascar can have up to 29 teats and give birth to up to 30 young at a time, a record among mammals. An extinct parrot species called Heracles inexpectatus, which was discovered in fossil deposits in New Zealand, was the largest known parrot to ever live, standing as much as a meter tall and weighing as much as 7 kilograms. Some aphid species have a reproductive method known as telescoping generations. When conditions are favorable, females can reproduce asexually, giving birth to live young that are perfect genetic matches to themselves. Amazingly, these nymphs are born with embryos already developing inside them, meaning that they're born pregnant. In this way, they can produce dozens of generations in only a few weeks. The genus Reproductive contained 2 species of frog from Australia, commonly known as the northern and southern gastric brooding frogs. females of both species would stop producing stomach acid when laying their eggs. They would then swallow them and rear them in their stomachs until froglets emerged from their mouths. Both species are believed to have gone extinct in the early 1980s. The pistol shrimp has a specialized snapping claw that it can snap so fast it creates a collapsing bubble that briefly reaches temperatures of around 4,700 degrees Celsius, which is almost as hot as the surface of the sun. The first bird that was called a penguin was a large flightless black and white bird from the North Atlantic, also known as the great auk. When European explorers first saw the birds that we know as penguins today, they noticed a similarity, and they began to call them penguins as well. The great auk has since gone extinct, and the term penguin has been fully adopted by the group of birds that we know as penguins from the southern hemisphere today. Reindeer and caribou are the same species of animal, with European or domestic populations being referred to as reindeer and wild North American populations being called caribou. Similarly, this animal is called a moose in North America and an elk in Europe. While in North America, an elk is the name of a totally different species of deer. The easiest way to distinguish apes from other primates is by their lack of tail. Humans, chimpanzees, gorillas, bonobos, and orangutans are considered great apes, while the various gibbon species are considered lesser apes. A bird known as the greater honey guide will seek out humans to get their attention and lead them to beehives. After humans remove the bees and harvest the honey, the greater honey guide will eat the wax from the hive that has been left behind. Some species of herring communicate by releasing the air in their swim bladders through their anuses. The sounds that they make are called fast repetitive ticks, or FRTs. These sounds help them maintain group cohesion at night. While woodpeckers and toucans may look and act quite differently, they're actually closely related, both belonging to the order Piciformes. They share a common ancestor and similar traits like zygodactyl feet, which means that they have 2 toes pointing forward and 2 pointing backwards. The North American pronghorn is often called an antelope, and this is the species referred to in the song Home on the Range, where the deer and the antelope play. But it isn't a true antelope. In fact, it's more closely related to giraffes, though it does fill a similar ecological niche as antelope species in Africa and Eurasia fill. They're also the second fastest land animal in the world, with only cheetahs able to outrun them. While cheetahs are only fast over short distances, pronghorns can maintain high speeds over long distances. Thanks to their wide range and variety of people groups that have encountered them, mountain lions have more English common names than any other animal, being known as cougars, pumas, panthers, catamounts, and painters, just to name a few. The closest living relatives to hippos are whales and dolphins. They share a semi-aquatic ancestor about 55 million years ago. The male argonaut, a type of pelagic octopus, uses a modified arm to mate. This arm detaches from his body and swims independently to the female, settling into her shell. The first biologists to encounter this arm thought that it was a species of parasitic worm. Hoatzin chicks are born with 2 claws on each of their wings. Because they live on the edges of rivers, these claws are used to climb through tree branches, keeping them from falling into the water below. Male giraffes determine whether or not a female is ready to mate by tasting her urine. They do this using a behavior known as the Flamen response, curling their lips and analyzing hormones with their vomeronasal organ. African crested rats chew poisonous tree bark and then smear the toxin onto specialized hairs on their flanks as a form of defense. Predators who try to bite them get a mouthful of poison. Manakins, a group of birds from tropical America, produce mechanical sounds with their wings. Some species snap their feathers so fast during courtship that it creates a buzzing or popping sound like an insect. There is a species of deep-sea octopus that holds onto its eggs for an astonishing 4.5 years, the longest known brooding period of any animal. When under threat, the Malaysian exploding ant sacrifices itself by rupturing its own body. It releases a sticky, toxic goo that deters predators and helps protect their colony. Wombats have cube-shaped poo. Their intestines compress the waste into angular shapes that help keep the droppings from rolling away. This is important because wombats use their droppings to mark their territory. Bearded vultures are bone specialists. They carry large bones into the air and drop them onto rocks to break them open, then swallow the pieces whole to digest the marrow. Male Emei mustache toads of China grow fleshy spikes on their upper lips during the breeding season, which they use in violent fights with other males over territory. Woodpecker tongues wrap all the way around the back of their skull when not in use. This extra length helps cushion the brain during their rapid pecking. The mimic octopus can impersonate more than 15 different marine species, including lionfish, sea snakes, and flatfish, adjusting its shape, posture, and movement to match each one. Baby elephants suck their trunks for comfort, the same way that human babies suck their thumbs. The immortal jellyfish can revert its cells back to an earlier life stage, essentially starting its life cycle over again. It's the only known animal capable of biological immortality. The Spanish ribbed newt defends itself by pushing its own ribs out through its skin. These sharpened bones pierce through toxic skin glands, helping protect it from predation. Rebeiroia are parasitic flatworms with a complex life cycle that involves multiple hosts. It begins in birds, where the adult worms reproduce and lay eggs that are passed into the water through the bird's droppings. These eggs hatch into free-swimming larvae that infect aquatic snails and continue to develop inside of them. Eventually, the snails release another larval stage that swims out and infects tadpoles. Inside the tadpoles, the parasites target developing limb tissue, often causing severe deformities like extra limbs. These deformities make the young frogs easier prey for birds, which eat them and become reinfected with the flatworms, starting the life cycle over again. Male gentoo penguins search for the smoothest, most perfect pebbles to present to a potential mate. If the female accepts the stone, she uses it to help build their shared nest. The turtle-headed sea snake lives in the ocean and hunts along coral reefs. Despite living in salt water, it needs to drink fresh water. When it rains, a thin layer of fresh water forms on the ocean's surface, and it drinks from that. The hagfish has no bones, no jaws, and nearly no eyes. When threatened, it produces liters of slime in seconds, clogging the gills or mouths of predators and allowing it to slip away. Cats and horses are highly sensitive to black widow spider venom, often reacting with severe symptoms or even dying if they don't get treatment. Dogs, on the other hand, are much more resistant, while sheep and rabbits seem to be completely immune, even to extremely high doses. Sharks are responsible for fewer than 10 human deaths per year, while humans are responsible for about 100 million shark deaths per year. Tyrannosaurus rex lived closer in time to humans than it did to Stegosaurus. Around 80 million years separated T. rex from Stegosaurus, but only 66 million years separate T. rex from us today. And that's it for today's video. Which fact did you find the most interesting? And do you know any other amazing animal facts? Let me know in the comments below. I need to say a special thanks to my patrons. Without their ongoing support, I wouldn't be able to produce a video like this every week. If you want to support the channel, consider joining us on Patreon. The link is in the video description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.